Jeffrey Lewis, low-budget Ken Burns documentary, long series on the complete history of communism. Tonight I'll do Communism Part 7, the story of Cuba. Cuba is an island in the tropics, right on the border of the giant USA, where native tribes plus Spain plus slaves brought for sugarcane form the mix that makes the Cuba of today. It was first claimed for the Spanish by Columbus and spent 400 years adding to Europe's wealth. In the late 19th century, a Cuban rebel named Martí inspired Cuba to want to fight to free itself. And then the US joined the war against the Spanish, and that's what finally caused Spain to lose its hold. So Cubans thought 1902 their independence had come true, but it became in some ways just USA controlled. Because big businesses bought up most of the landscape, the Cuban presidents got wealthy overnight, while most Cubans in the country still had no doctors or money, lived in shacks, and had no schools to read or write. In 1952, the army man, Batista, had Cuba's presidential leader overthrown. But the US didn't mind, because he kept our business running fine. He even got rewarded with a golden phone. Then he let the mafia move down into Havana, where their dirty business could outdo the USA. They ran sex and gambling rackets where the law could never catch it, and Batista got paid big to let them stay. Many protest groups opposed Batista. One group attacked a small army division. These youthful rebels failed. They all got tortured, killed, or jailed. A law school grad named Fidel Castro went to prison. Meanwhile, 7,000 miles southwards, Dr. Che Guevara, a brash young Argentine, took a motorcycle adventure through the whole South continent and began to ponder all the poverty he'd seen. Che wondered what created such oppression as he kept traveling and learning more and more, till he decided Marx was right, and he felt a growing need to fight against the crooks who'd kept the Latin countries poor. In 1955, Castro got out of prison. In Mexico, he met this fiery Dr. Che. Che saw a revolution where he could make a contribution, so he joined the Cuban rebels right away. With 80 Cubans on a little boat called Grandma, they set sail November 1956. Fidel's tiny army meant to take down the whole Cuban government. They must have seemed like suicidal lunatics. And the Grandma boat attack was a disaster. Batista's troops killed almost all of them with ease, while Fidel and his brother made it out with a few others. Che got hit but still escaped into the trees. For 2 years they outfoxed Batista's forces, while the rich folks in Havana didn't care. Urban groups kept on rebelling, while Castro's troops kept swelling, earning love from Cuban peasants everywhere. Till with the rebels growing huge and more successful, Batista grabbed a ton of cash and ran away. So with mass popularity, the revolution had succeeded in 1959 on New Year's Day. Fidel said first, big foreign farms should be divided, and that made future US business prospects grim. Fidel said old torturers and cops should be rounded up and shot, while the US made secret plans to murder him. The US launched a sneaky Bay of Pigs invasion, but the Cubans found it out and quickly won. But Fidel took this as a lesson for more security and repression, to keep watch in case of other plots to come. They banned racists and improved the lives of millions with roads and hospitals and schools and services. But they kept close watch on free expression, and they never held elections, while Fidel made sure the leadership stayed his. The US sent spies, saboteurs, and hitmen, while denying it in public constantly. And then when the US cut off trade, Fidel turned to Russian aid, declaring Cuba communist officially. Cuba still stands as an example to the third world that big imperialist powers can be fought. They've sent doctors, troops, and help to others fighting for themselves, and in Bolivia, Che died when he got caught. Cuba's cigars, sugar, and multicolored peoples still struggle on in conflict with their giant neighbor, but now with no more Soviet assistance, they've still not found a perfect system where rich countries can't exploit poor countries' labor. And that brings us up to Complete History of Communism, Chapter 7.5, the story of the Cuban Missile Crisis, but not tonight.